that's why I decided to become a 7A administrator. I decided, I wanted to do property management, and I love property management. I realized I had recently had a job as a property manager for a 200 apartment complex in Niagara Falls. And while the employment was short term, I enjoyed every minute of it. Every day that I was there, I enjoyed it. People come in, fill out an application for an apartment. You got to gather the information from the various sources, and then let them know that you show them the place, of course, first. You sell it. You don't really show it. You sell it. That's what we're all about. And again, I want to thank you for joining me for Real Highway to Heaven bed. $80 a month. I was living on Low Pier at the time. I had owned the house, and I had a little space heater about half that size, and it was one space heater in the whole place. I had to put a heat on in the bedroom in order to get some heat. You know what I mean? But I had one space heater. I didn't know nothing about no space heater when I first came up here. To Buffalo. I'm from New York City. We didn't have space heaters. We didn't have fuse boxes. I didn't know nothing about that. So I'm learning about this kind of stuff. So I also understand that they're outruling, in the courts, they're outruling space heaters now. You're not going to really be allowed to use space heaters anymore. But the bill was $80 at the storefront, and it was $400 on Low Pier. And I was like, why is this bill so high? I couldn't understand it. And then I looked at my bill, and I found out why. There was another particular instance when there was more electricity was used this particular month than the previous month. And that was an accurate, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. More electricity was used. I had another device that I was using. It was a water pump. Pumped the water out the basement. And that sucker ran, for a while, you know what I mean? And that was a high electric bill. My gas bill shot up to approximately the same amount of money the following month. And I know good and well my gas shouldn't have been that much money. And I looked at my bill one day. I said, wow, let me check this out. Interesting. And I looked at my bill, and I read it, and I examined it, and I realized that the readings that the gas company, National Fuel and National Grid, does is estimated. It's estimated. Okay, they base your gas on your electric usage. Okay, so if you use a lot of electricity one month, your gas bill is going to go up because they are estimating your bill. Now on your bill, I think you turn the front page where your name is on it. Look at the bottom, okay, of the page, and it'll have a graph. It'll look like a graph, okay? And it'll say on it in small letters, on the side it'll say estimated, and it'll have the mark, and then it'll say accurate, and then it'll have a mark. So if you look at the graph and you see a mark that looks like the mark next to the word estimated, your bill has been estimated. If you see a mark on that graph next to the word that says accurate, then they've done an accurate reading. And the only way that they can do an accurate reading, National Fuel or National Grid, is if they read the meter. That means the meter has to be outside. If your meter is inside, your bill is being estimated, and you are getting charged more money than you should. Now what you need to do is you'll call up National Fuel and you'll say, I'd like to come out and have an accurate reading of my gas. And they'll tell you to read it. They'll tell you to go downstairs and read your own meter. Now first of all, that's not your job. They get paid big money to come out and do that. So, ma'am, sir, I don't know how to do that. I'm not trained in that. I might read the wrong number. So would you mind sending someone out? Okay, they got to come out. They're supposed to come out every month. Okay, unless you call them, they will not come out. You have to call them every month. Okay, if you learn how to read it, then that's a plus. You know what I mean? And I think it's not just standard left to right. I think it's right to left. I don't even know. I don't know how to read the meter either. But it's not my job to read the meter. That's your job. So if your bill is higher than your gas bill and your electric bill, if it's higher than what you think it should be, that means your bill is being estimated. And in order for you to get an accurate reading, the gas company and or the electric company, National Fuel or National Grid, have to come out to your house and read the meter. Now what they'll do is to discourage you, they'll say, you'll call them up and you'll ask them if I can make sure you tell them the date and time you want them to come. If they say they can't, they'll say, today will be Tuesday, for example. and you'll say, tomorrow, is when I want them to come out, which is uh, Wednesday, but I want you to come out at 10 in the morning or in the morning. And they'll say, well, we don't have anybody for 10 a.m. tomorrow. We only have 3 p.m. tomorrow. And you say, well, what about Thursday at 10 a.m.? If that's the time that you have to have. And then they'll tell you that you got to wait. You have a span. They'll come somewhere between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Okay, but they'll call you 15 minutes beforehand to let you know that they're somewhere in the neighborhood. You know, that's one thing. So be very alert when you look at your bill. If your gas meter is inside the house, or if your electric meter is inside, or your gas meter might be inside and the electric might be out. Don't worry about the electric. The electric is being accurate. Okay, but your gas meter is being estimated if your gas meter is inside the house. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to call National Fuel and ask them to come out and do an accurate reading. Okay, and that'll solve that. If every month you have to do that, then every month you have to do that. Okay, but if your bill starts being low, okay, then they might estimate it more accurately if they have to estimate it. They'll be more accurate of a reading. They say, okay, I've estimated it, but now I know that it's closer to this as opposed to that. So Fundamentals of Housing and Community Strategies. Excellent book. Available on AffordableHomesAndApartments.com. And again, I want to thank you for joining me for Real Estate, Religion, and You. And my name is Sylvia Black, and I am your host.